I love making things with my milk kefir grains, and when I heard you could make apple cider, and I looked it up, and there were all these health benefits and probiotics and all that kind of stuff, even though I don't really drink alcohol, I felt like I needed to try this. So I'm going to show you my experiment here with making apple cider from kefir grains, milk kefir grains. Now, I couldn't find a whole lot of information about this online, just one little article that I'll link down below. And it said all you need is the apple juice from the store and your milk kefir grains. And I assume that's because milk kefir doesn't just have bacteria to make kefir, but it also has yeast to it. So I imagine that's why you're able to use milk kefir grains. So it said to start with a tablespoon of rinsed kefir grains, which is what I did, and some store-bought apple juice with no preservatives in it. And you want about 2 cups. So I poured that into my jar, and then I decided that my jar was a little bit big for only 2 cups worth of cider. So I swapped it out, and I'm just using a quart jar instead. It said if you're using just a regular mason jar that you just need to burp the lid every day and make sure that it doesn't explode, but you could also use a fermenting lid. Now, I don't know if I have a fermenting lid for cider, but I do have a fermenting lid or burping lid that I use for my homemade sauerkraut. And so I thought, well, I'll give that a shot. And so I made 2 different batches, exactly the same with rinsed kefir grains and store-bought apple juice, but one of them has a regular mason jar lid and one of them has a fermenting lid that's not necessarily for cider. I don't know. Now I noticed that the kefir grains were all kinds of mixed in when I first poured it in, but they sink. So after a while, they will all sink down to the bottom, and then you got to label them. At least I had to label them. I use my handy little stickers here. I'll put links to those in the description also, as well as my chalk marker to mark exactly what day that I started all this nonsense. And then it is time to put the lids on and let it ferment. Now, they also said to taste it every single day, so I'm going to. The idea here is that with this one, I'm going to need to burp it pretty much every day, and this one will burp itself. So we will see how this goes. Day 1. After 24 hours, the one on the right seemed far fizzier than the one on the left. And I don't know why I felt like I should shake them. You're not supposed to shake them, but I did. I shook them to see how fizzy they were. And it was clear that the one that needed burping was not as fizzy as the one that had the burping lid or the fermenting lid. So if you wanted a little more carbonated, perhaps the fermenting lid is the way to go. Now this is day 2, and you can see that a lot of the fizz is starting to focus around the kefir grains that are still on top. And this side is doing the same thing. They look very similar. It's time to burp that one and then try a sample of each one. Now on day 1, I really didn't notice much of a flavor change. There was definitely a flavor change, but not really anything crazy. Day 2, there was definitely more of a yeasty flavor. So this is the 3rd day.
It's not
Okay, hold on. I'll help you in just a sec. And this one is just a little foamy at the top also. So I'll just open and close that lid once. And we'll see how this works. Now on day 3, it was definitely getting a different flavor. And by day 4, it had a really good flavor. I really liked it. But come day 5, I felt like it kind of turned. Today's the 5th, so it's been 5 days. And I think I liked the taste of it the other day better. This is the one that had the burping lid. It looks like it fermented faster than the one that had the closed lid. I said fermented, but I meant it carbonated faster. And after a taste test on day 5, I decided day 4 definitely tasted better. So I strained out the milk kefir grains, and then I put it in the fridge so that it could chill and carbonate. But I wanted to show you the kefir grains. Aren't they crazy? So milk kefir grains will take on the color of the thing that you were fermenting. So usually it's about as white as the milk that it sits in. But here it took on the color of the apple juice that it was in. And when I tasted them, they actually took on some of the apple juice flavor too. So that was kind of fun. And my daughter, when she saw me tasting it, she had to try it too. Is that sour?
Yeah, kind of.
What does it taste like?
Strawberry.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, tastes like strawberry. Ugh.
So does it taste good or not?
good.
So the verdict was in. At least the kefir grains tasted good. Now, if you're going to be making more batches of this, I highly recommend that you do 2 or 3 batches of milk kefir in between batches of cider, because the milk kefir grains do need the milk and the nutrients from the milk in order to survive. Now, here's what the grains look like after one kefir batch. It's still lighter pink. And when I lay them out side by side, you can really see the difference. The one on the right had the apple cider, and the one on the left has only been put in milk. So you can see that it really holds that color. It actually holds on to the flavor too, although the more you run it through the milk, the more diluted the apple flavor gets. Now, if you try this, you gotta tell me down in the comments how it went for you, because I wanna hear. And if you wanna hear about my other milk kefir experiments, then you will definitely want to subscribe. And if the video was helpful, please give it a like. And I will see you on my next desert forest garden adventure.